Funkhauser, what, in fact, is going on in the world?
Well, Burger King is going to give Whoppers to customers dressed as clowns.
Yeah. Speaking of Whoppers in the news, evidently Paul Manafort told a bunch of them. That's a whole show in and of itself. Yeah. Go on.
We'll get to that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Former Trump campaign aides Paul Manafort and Rick Gates were indicted by special prosecutor Robert Mueller.
Yeah. We're not going to get into all of this today because there's so much going on, and it changes minute by minute. But I think both pled not guilty by reason of future pardon by Trump. Their crystal ball allowed them to see that eventuality. What else?
New Jersey a county in New Jersey warned trick-or-treaters to watch out for candy laced with marijuana.
No kidding. Or as Snoop Dogg calls it, candy. Did you have to do that thing where you got your candy x-rayed every single year?
No.
Watch out. I think poison candy. I think poison candy and candy with razor blades in it, things like that. I believe that's an urban legend. Like, everybody's very cautious with the candy that they allow their children to eat, and with good reason too. But I think in the history of trick-or-treating, I don't believe there's ever been, and I could be wrong on this one, we'll have to look it up during the break, Funkhauser. I don't believe there's ever been an instance where someone has attempted to harm children by giving them Halloween candy.
Yeah, man. Plus, you know how expensive marijuana candy is?
Yeah, why would you give that away?
You got to be some kind of pothead to do that.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that warning was without merit. It was probably a rumor, and if you're a cop and you hear something like that, you go, okay, now we got to, okay, yeah, fine.
An Apple engineer was fired for letting his daughter show off the unreleased iPhone X on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. This is, wow. Remember when YouTube was just something you used to make fun of your classmates? The guy got canned. If you're an Apple fan, you probably heard about that girl who posted a video of herself having lunch with her dad on the new Apple campus, and he whips out the new iPhone X and lets her show it off. So what happened to that guy was Apple fired him. Apparently, there's a strict rule against filming inside the employee cafeteria because Apple wants employees to feel safe discussing projects in development. The girl's name is Brooke Amelia Peterson, and her dad was an engineer who had worked on Apple Pay on the new phone. Check this out.
This is the first time now with this iPhone X. Just like
Did you get it?
I did.
Yeah.
Wow, awesome.
I did the Apple Pay on that phone, so I wanted to test it.
Dad has the new iPhone 10. Are people calling it the iPhone 10 or the...
Yes.
Okay. It's not the X, it's the 10. Don't you dare forget it. Look how big the screen is. And then you just swipe to go back home. How pretty. This camera is what is so insane to me. See how good that looks? It's so awesome.
He takes full responsibility for letting me film his iPhone 10.
This is after he got fired, by the way. Check this out.
And Apple let him go. At the end of the day, when you work for Apple, it doesn't matter how good of a person you are. If you break a rule, they just have no tolerance. They had to do what they had to do. I'm not mad at Apple. I'm not going to stop buying Apple products. Rules are in place for the happiness and for the safety of workers. And my dad takes absolutely full responsibility for the one rule that he broke. We're not angry. We're not bitter. My dad had a really great run at Apple, and he appreciates that company for everything that they did for his career.
I mean, doesn't sound like anyone's over.
Nobody got a whooping?
Nobody. Well, he got fired. That's, that's,
I mean, the influencer daughter didn't get a whooping for getting daddy fired?
No. I mean, well, yeah, but like there he knew she was filming, and he's like, hey, check this out.
Yeah.
And then he was talking about it. He was like, oh, yeah, the Apple Pay works. I helped put that in there.
Wow.
I got to guess that if you're an Apple engineer that's in charge of putting Apple Pay onto the new iPhone, your career options afterwards are probably okay. You're probably pretty good at what it is you do. But I don't know. You evidently can't be trusted with secrets, so that might hurt.
Yeah, I guess he missed that day.
I wonder if maybe he was just like, well, I want to go out and I want to go out in a blaze of glory. Like, I wonder if he was under contract and he wanted to get out to do something else. He's like, why not give my daughter like 10 million YouTube hits? So like, it got a ridiculous number of hits on YouTube before Apple forced her to take it down. So I wonder if it was like he had to know, right? He had to know this will not go well. They've got a rule about this. I'm breaking it, and I'm participating in a video that my daughter is making, breaking it, kind of giving away some company secrets before the launch. And clearly he's an Apple engineer, smart guy, probably not oblivious to things like this. I bet he had another gig lined up that he couldn't take, and so he's like, how can I go out in a blaze of glory and help my daughter get some YouTube hits? I have to imagine this was on purpose.
That's a good angle.
They seem pretty chill about the whole situation. We'll wait and see. Watch this space. All right, what else?
Archaeologists have discovered the footprints of a giant carnivorous dinosaur.
Yeah. They've named it the Harvey Weinsteinosaurus. Settled on that name because the footprints led to Gwyneth Paltrow's hotel room door. Good for them. Go on.
Robots will soon help stock the shelves at about 50 Walmart stores.
Yeah, no word on if the robots will be programmed to speak and give you directions to the store's bathroom meth lab. But nevertheless, more robots replacing humans. Didn't you go to that McDonald's the other day where your food came out of a dispenser instead of being handed to you by a human being?
No, there was a human, but I ordered it without a human.
Right. Yeah. I went to Outback Steakhouse the other day, and it's interesting. It's interesting because they have that thing on the table where you can, for
there's no
$1.99.
like greeting at the end. It's just like, well, bye.
Yeah, you can pay, and you can order your appetizers, and then it's the part with the server is only the middle part of the meal because you pay at your table, you order your appetizers at the table, and really, it's a very interesting thing, and the implications of it. Well, they're big, and we'll talk about them next.
You walk these streets most every day. You waiting to get washed away. Radio. Radio. 104.1.
Now, more AD on the radio.
So, Funkhauser, you and I will discuss a man who wrote a song that changed everything for him and for us, too. As a goof, as a joke, to see if people were paying attention at an open mic night. They were not paying attention, but it turned out to be the song that changed everything for this guy. We'll do that toward the end of the show. Have a guess mentally at who this might be.
I'm sort of excited because I don't think I know.
Which song it might be. Oh, well, we'll get into that a little later on. Right now, though, I want you to repeat the last headline from the news.
Oh. Okay. Well, we talk about robots will soon help stock the shelves at about 50 Walmart stores.
Yeah. So, come back to this over and over again. The idea of people fighting for minimum wage to be increased. Doing kind of like menial tasks. Now, look, I always preface this conversation by saying I'm in no position to judge the work that you do. If you work in fast food, I have no idea what your day looks like. I'm not saying how hard or not hard you work, not how much effort you put into it, nor am I trying to place a value on your blood, sweat, and tears when you go into your place of business. Whether you work in fast food or whether you work in high finance, I don't know because I'm not doing it. But you know who will place a value on that? Employers. And employers increasingly are finding a way to bail on minimum wage employees and replace them with robots. So, look, the reality of the situation is this. You might support minimum wage hikes, you might not. But the reality, like I said, is that you're going to have to start thinking more and more about what it is that you have to offer this world. What makes you unique? What makes you special? What makes you somebody, like I said, with something to offer in this world? Because Doesn't matter how much you feel like you deserve benefits. Doesn't matter how much you feel like you deserve a raise, all of the above. Employers are looking for any way possible to remain competitive and cut costs. And, well, if you don't figure out a space for yourself in this world, there might not be a space. So there's that. All right, Funkhauser, what else?
Charlie Heaton from Stranger Things was...
Oh, yeah.
Was,
have you watched the new Stranger Things yet?
Yeah, you know, and I have a little gripe about it here because...
hold on. No spoilers because I haven't watched it. Go on.
No, but there's a thing that Netflix does, okay? And it's when they make an episodic story like this, there's a part in the middle that makes you kind of snoozy about it. You know, it's hard to binge this one. And I think it's because of two reasons. Number one, they're stretching it out to try to get it to a certain length. And number two, I think it's because all of the kid actors know that everyone's watching, like know that their show is popular and famous, so that they've changed a little bit of how they act. And for me, it's hard for me to keep binging it, so I'm stuck right in the middle.
Well, I mean, it's
still great, but
I'll also postulate this eventuality. We as human beings are not meant to remain interested in 12 straight hours of television. Like, if you're saying you're running out of steam to watch it a little bit in the middle, it's probably because you just watched 5 straight hours of one show. And in the past, we would have broken this up over the course of 12 weeks and been like, can't wait for my show to be on. And now when you binge something, it's just... I had the same experience with Mindhunter, too.
Yep, same deal. That's what I was thinking. It's either a trend or it's just the way I'm watching stuff. And I think you're right. It's the latter.
It's just because you're not supposed to watch 12 straight hours of television or 8 straight hours of television or how many it is. It's interesting what you say about the kids, like, being kind of famous now. They're stars, they're actors. You know, our friend Randall Reeder, star of movies like Deadpool, also was in Walker, Texas Ranger, also was in King of the Hill, also was in... Just the list goes on and on. Of what Randall was in. I remember once he told me he got his start in acting, and he was really good, and he had been acting consistently for a while, and he went back to his old acting teacher, and kind of checked in, and the guy was like, "Oh man, you're acting now." He's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You had this great, really natural thing where you just kind of went and, you know, you didn't think about how your character would say the line. You just said the line." You know, like, you didn't, think about how an actor would smoke a cigarette. You smoked the cigarette, or whatever the hell analogy the guy used. But he was just like, you've spent sort of like a couple of years in Hollywood and you've learned how to act. And that's cool, but it's taken away some of what made you special in the first place. And Randall said he had to sort of like dig deep to get back to that while sort of like maintaining his understanding of his craft and all this sort of stuff. So I wonder if like those kids are now famous and they now know a little bit more of how to act, So I wonder if they're sort of like, they're acting more than just being kids on screen, which was what people seem to like. They're just kids on screen.
Yep.
I would imagine it's a magical sort of, combination that's very difficult to find if you are looking to make a film or a television show or something like that features kids heavily. To find a kid that isn't an obnoxious little stage kid that's sort of like natural and seems like a kid, but can also deliver, the lines in a compelling way. It's got to be a delicate balance to hit, and it probably, like I said, remains delicate throughout the course of making careers and movies and TV shows and stuff like that. But yeah, Charlie Heaton from Stranger Things was busted for cocaine possession.
Yes.
Well, according to his publicist, hey, we all need to get to the upside down in our own way. There you go.
Acting
How much time do we have left?
Oh, we still have a whole other one after this.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, we got a couple on this one, and then we have a whole other one after.
Okay. Oh, hey, by the way.
What?
You know the idea of poisoning candy?
Uh-huh.
All right. According to our friends over at Snopes.
Yep.
Yeah. The claim is people have documented cases of people randomly distributing poison goodies to children on Halloween. False. Tales of black-hearted madmen doling out poisoned Halloween candy to unsuspecting little tykes have been around for decades. They were part of the Halloween experience more than 40 years ago, and every year sees the same flurry of activity in response to rumors. Radio, TV, newspapers issue dark warnings about tampered candy and suggest taking little ones to parties instead of collecting goodies door to door. Even Ann Landers published a column in 1995 warning against the mad poisoner, saying in recent years there have been reports of people with twisted minds putting razor blades and poison in taffy apples and Halloween candy. There's never been evidence of a genuine Halloween poisoning ever. So
okay, I'm going to go eat all the candy then.
Uh-huh.
There's something happening here, and you should know what it is. The Dumbing Up of America. Now, more AD on the radio.
So before we get back into the news, Funkhauser, you know how we were talking about the fact that no one's ever poisoned Halloween candy?
From Snopes.
Well, no. This is a story I was thinking of, but I wanted to check and make sure it was true, and it wasn't something that it wasn't just an urban legend that I told myself. There is one person, the single and most famous case of Halloween candy being poisoned was a father murdering his kid, and he got the idea to use poison Halloween candy because of the urban legend. And this is how he got caught. Because of the urban legend that people poison Halloween candy, he thought, I'll just, give the kid poison Halloween candy. Because let's not delve into whatever the hell it is that makes you so sick and disgusting and twisted that you'd be willing to off your own child. But the premise of Halloween candy is often poisoned was the premise under which he was going to get away with murdering his kid. And cops were like, yeah, here's the thing about that Halloween candy being poisoned legend. That's exactly what it is, a legend. So immediately they knew something was up. It's the most famous case of Halloween candy poisoning. It's a murder of 8-year-old Timothy Mark O'Brien at the hands of his father, this guy called Ronald Clark O'Brien. In Houston, Texas, the child died at 10 p.m. on the 31st of October, 1974, as a result of eating cyanide-laced pixie sticks, which he acquired while trick-or-treating. To make it look more like the work of a random madman, O'Brien also gave poison pixie sticks to his daughter and 3 other children. By kind of a stroke of fate, none of the other children actually ate the candy. The prosecution proved that the father had purchased cyanide and had, along with a neighbor, accompanied the group of children on their door-to-door trick-or-treating. None of the places visited that night were actually giving out pixie sticks, though. And this kid's life was insured for a large sum of money, and collecting on this policy was the closest thing they've got to an idea of a motive behind the murder. But the way the guy was caught, besides the fact that he'd recently purchased cyanide and no one gave out pixie sticks, was cops immediately went, yeah, nobody actually poisons Halloween candy. That's a myth. That's a legend. That's not a thing. So the one time that it actually happened was a father who thought he could rely on that legend to help him get away with murdering his child. Crazy, right? Absolutely crazy.
Wow.
Beyond belief. All right, Funkhauser, we're going to talk about a guy who wrote a song as a joke, as a goof, as an accident that wound up changing his life and making him one of the most prominent musical artists of the last 20 years before the end of the show. Right now, though, let's continue what remains of the news. What is going on?
Samuel L. Jackson is teaching an online acting class.
Oh. So if you see someone screaming the F word over and over again at their laptop, it may not be because it's Adele. Go on, he said, smugly laughing, having owned Adele or two in his lifetime.
Yeah, for real. Janet Jackson is open to being reunited with Justin Timberlake at the Super Bowl.
Oh, no kidding.
Huh.
She's open to it, huh? No word on if that's actually happening, but we will, of course, keep you abreast of the situation. Yep, that's what we'll do. Keep you abreast of it.
Yep. Experts say duct tape will be the hottest Christmas gift in Alabama this year. What?
Huh?
Why?
It seems odd, but I guess We have to bear in mind how useful duct tape is for sealing up windows after your bathroom meth lab explodes, so that could be it. Wow, duct tape. What's like the worst gift you've ever gotten?
Me?
Yeah.
I think tube socks.
Oh, really? I love tube socks. I love socks. And I always need them. I never want to go out and buy socks and underwear. So if people give me socks and underwear, gifts that you're traditionally supposed to hate, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, usually I am, but one year I got only tube socks.
Uh-huh.
And I needed, like, less socky
a car.
socks. Yeah, well, yeah, uh-huh. A car. And, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think, like, and this really, you know, it's a fine gift, but the manner in which it was presented by my parents to me and my sister one year, it was the biggest Christmas letdown ever. And I'm going to sound remarkably spoiled saying all this stuff, but you know how when you're a kid and you have a few gifts at Christmas, generally speaking, your parents like you to save whatever they think is your big gift or your main gift, or you're supposed to save that one for last, right?
Yeah, the biggest box.
Yeah, the biggest, you know, the biggest gift. So, like, in the very back of the tree, my sister and I spotted them almost immediately, were two giant identical boxes wrapped for us. And we were just like, that's the and of course, what do? You make a beeline for it. And Mom was like, no, that one's for last. And and over the course of that Christmas, we got stuff that we were really stoked about. And this is why I want to say that, you know, like, I don't want to sound spoiled. Like, looking back on it, very appreciative of having had anything at all. Like, that's, you know, a Christmas miracle in and of itself. But there was so much anticipation built up around these two boxes that sat at the back of the tree. And they were really, really big boxes, too. So we're like, I can't even imagine what that is. Can we shake it? No. Can we touch it? No. You just have to wait. That's the, you know, no. That has to be last. And bear in mind, my sister and I are probably about, we're probably about 8 and 5 or 6 at the time. Like, we're kids. We're young kids. And so, like, our young brains are going absolutely insane with the possibility of what could be in these gift boxes. And we finally get to it. Everything else has been opened. Everything else has been handled. And my mom goes, now you can open those. And we're like, freaking yeah! And we tear into them. And you know what they were, Funkhauser?
What?
Quilts.
I was going to say, were they bedding?
Yeah, it was bedding. It was like, I mean, I say quilts, but really it was duvets because that's what you have in England. It was just, you know, big.
Oh, wow. Just what you guys needed. That's great.
Well, you know, I mean, there. It definitely kept us warm while we slept for years, and they were really nice, and I don't regret having those. But the idea that, you know, there was all this buildup to getting, like, a blanket on our bed, like, these are not the things that, you know, 8-year-olds get excited about at Christmas time. So that was. It wasn't the worst gift I ever got, but it was the biggest sort of, like, letdown because there'd been all this buildup to it. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
man, big old box there. I
think that was the first year. I think that was the year I got my pellet gun. If they made my pellet gun the final gift, I would have been happy as anything. But, you know, I don't know. I don't really understand the logic behind that one. But so, yeah.
When I had girlfriends around Christmas time, I would put their gifts in bigger boxes. So under the Christmas tree, there's like a giant box, and it's a little thing.
Oh, sneaky. But was it something nice?
Yeah, always.
Were you one of those people that tried to disguise your gifts? Like, you know, if it's a shirt, I'm putting it in a box, or I'm putting it in like a bottle of soda. Like, I'm cutting it like one of those people like, oh, well, this is delicious soda pop for Christmas. Ha ha! It's a shirt. Like, I know so many people that love to throw out those.
Yeah,
little
man, I'm crafty.
Gifts.
Sure.
Yeah. Only I don't appreciate Christmas.
Use a whole roll of tape.
I just don't ever want anything at Christmas time. And this is like, what you know, and what are the things I need? No, I had to get a new car when the O2 with the tape deck ate it late last year. But, you know, up until last year, I needed a car.
So now you need a tape deck.
No, I don't have tapes anymore. I've joined the new millennium. I have compact discs that I listen to in the car. You know what else I have? Bluetooth. Mother effing Bluetooth. I'm so excited about this. I can just listen to whatever the hell I want on my phone as I drive down the road without having to fuss with any kind of cable.
What?
It seems
what is
like
this black magic you're talking about?
Yeah, I know. Trust me, as a guy who drove around in a car with a tape deck for the last 10 years, this is a big deal to me. I know everybody else is like, okay, Amish boy, fine. But for me, it's a big deal.